The United States is a shell of its former self. I mean, just look at what's happened to the stock market. Look at real estate. Look at Social Security. I mean, even SNAP, EBTs, they don't feel the same for many recipients. And to top it all off, we're seeing the curtains being pulled back on our government and their seemingly Orwellian hold over multiple social media platforms. I mean, you got to think that if this information came out a few years ago, you would hear about it all over the news. But you're not. This type of control provides them with many opportunities, and as many critics have observed, this is the kind of news that we would have thought that we would hear from the likes of China, maybe Russia, but nope. It is happening right here in the good old US of A. The White House has already argued that this kind of free speech where they don't hold the reins of social media could be very harmful to the American people. Do you agree with them?
The State Department canceled a monthly meeting Wednesday with Facebook officials just a day following a Louisiana federal judge's bombshell ruling that curtailed communications between the Biden administration and social media companies.
Critics of the ruling, well, they maintain it could have implications on the effort to cut down disinformation ahead of the 2024 election. And the ruling left some experts concerned about a chilling effect on attempts to moderate false information online. That's according to reporting from The Hill.
We are going to continue to promote responsible actions to protect public health, safety, and security when confronted by challenges like a deadly pandemic and foreign attacks on our elections. So we're going to continue to do that to promote that in a responsible way. Our view remains that social media platforms have a critical responsibility to take action or to take account of the effects of their platforms are having to the American people, but make independent choices about the information they present. They are a private, as you know, entity, and it is their responsibility to act accordingly.
And do you think that it's essential for them to have the power to deplatform and even block anyone who goes against their narrative? It's insane to think that they can't be bothered with the solvency issue for Social Security, but they have the time to do this. I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't about President Biden or the Democratic Party. What I'm saying is that neither party, whoever may be the sitting president, should have this kind of sway and influence. You guys can tell me what you think in the comment section down below, but I really think that this should be bigger news than what's being treated. Now, talking about huge news, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, she says that a recession is not off the table for our economy. Well, it's nice to see that she's finally caught up with us, huh? Come to think of it, was the recession ever off the table? I mean, heck, for some Americans, it's right by their bedside table. Many believe that we're already in a recession or on the cusp of a depression. What do you guys think is closer to the truth? So here's something that's true. President Biden just gave away a national defense secret, and man, none of us are happy. So even though the president was referring to the war, he couldn't help but share that the United States, one of the strongest countries in the world, is now running out of 155mm artillery ammunition rounds.
President Biden facing backlash after appearing to let a military secret slip during a rare live TV interview.
This is a war relating to munitions and the running out of that ammunition, and we're low on it. And so what I finally did, took the recommendation of the Defense Department to not permanently, but to allow for in this transition period where we get more 155 weapons, these shells for the Ukrainians.
And then it begs the whole question, if he's just blurting things like this out in an interview, is he competent enough to lead the nation?
Well, it's a fair question, and I have to laugh because as an Army officer, former Army officer myself, if me or one of my soldiers were to tweet or give some kind of a media interview where we revealed such crucial information to the public, we would be censured, maybe even imprisoned. But here is our commander-in-chief just blurting out this tactical and strategic information for everyone to hear. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating.
The president has had his share of public statements that have gone bad, but a lot of people on social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook, they're saying that openly admitting our country's weakness, especially on a military level, it's a whole new level of low, even for Biden. Now, speaking of lows, experts have also claimed that there's absolutely no chance that you could smuggle in drugs through the White House when it's being protected by the Secret Service. No chance. Now, the question now would be, how the heck did that particular substance, that particular someone bring in, this powder into one of the most secure buildings in the entire world? Did a bird bring it in? Maybe a drug dog who happened to like that specific type of powder? I mean, all jokes aside, there's absolutely nothing funny about this huge security breach as it makes our country look like a big joke in front of other world leaders. Which brings me to my next topic, and that is on Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. His weaker than expected campaign is now encouraging other Republicans to take a look at running for the Oval Office. That is, is according to GOP strategists that they're saying that both Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin as well as Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, they're now both interested in taking a shot at it. Now, DeSantis's run was marred right at the start with his catastrophic Twitter Spaces event, and then recently he's also offended LGBTQ Republicans as he was deemed homophobic for highlighting Trump's past statement regarding LGBTQ. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, who's also trying to unseat former President Donald Trump in the GOP primary, has said that the race for the party's presidential nomination is going to be totally different within a short amount of time, and that this isn't even her saying that DeSantis won't be in the running soon. This is her saying that she's probably going to be the closest to Trump in the polls very soon. Do you guys think that this would ever happen? I mean, this is Nikki Haley here. And do you see somebody else other than Trump leading the Republicans for 2024? While the GOP are still torn about who's going to represent them next year, some Democrats have now decided to back up President Joe Biden on his re-election bid, especially as they now know who he's going up against. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has said that if President Biden was the Democratic nominee, she would willingly support him. A switch from earlier this year where she said that she would wait for the Democratic primary process to play out before endorsing any candidate. However, and this is from an Axios report, I don't think that the president's own staffers would want him back in the White House. One official from the Biden administration has told Axios that the president has a very short temper and he frequently lashes out at his own staff members with a lot of F-bombs if they don't meet his expectations. Although aides have said that getting shouted out by the president is considered to be sort of a rite of passage for them. What do you think about that? Now, I know that there's many different leadership styles, but it's kind of hard to imagine the president dropping F-bombs left and right. Can y'all see that? And Elon Musk may actually take a fist to Mark Zuckerberg as their rivalry heats up with Threads, the newest social media platform from Meta, surpassing 100 million users in the first 5 days. Now, the news isn't that great for Musk, as a tech executive said that Twitter's traffic has been tanking ever since Threads came out. Zuckerberg has come out to say that his platform will be the kinder and gentler version of Twitter, although some critics are basically saying that this means that free speech won't be allowed on it and that censorship on the platform will probably be much higher compared to that of Twitter. I don't need any more censorship. I'm good on that. But what do you guys think? And are any of you willing to pay money to see Zuckerberg and Musk duke it out in an MMA ring? And on that note, here is something that I know a lot of us are wrestling with: our budgets. We're looking at it from different angles and we're trying to find savings wherever we can. Now, while it's admirable to keep our costs down, it's also good to look at our options. You see, there's always a silver lining. And when it comes to investments, there's probably going to be a lot of that going around, especially within the next few months to a year. And I'm talking about the real estate market, the stock market, and we can't forget about the ceiling for gold and silver. Now, if you're thinking about cash flow, why not invest in yourself by potentially generating multiple streams of income through side hustles, small businesses, or home-based businesses? It seems daunting at first, but all of these are attainable goals. And if you need any guidance on your road back to financial freedom, feel free to drop me some comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. By the way, if you made it this far in the video, definitely drop a quick like for the video. Also consider subscribing to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.